Hello everyone, it's Jasmine and welcome back to my channel. Today's card is going to be a Father's Day card, and we're going to use an emboss resist technique with the Distress Oxides to make a leather look to the background of the card. So I'm starting out with some Bristol Smooth cardstock that I have die cut using MFT Wonky Stitches die. And the stamp set is going to be background block stamp set by Concord 9th. I'm going to use my Misty because it just makes it easier to restamp. Now the Distress Oxides, if you're not familiar with them, are a new ink. They came out, I think they came out in March sometime. Tim debuted them at this year's CHA. And they're a blend between dye ink and a pigment ink. Now pigment inks are opaque, they're creamy, they're very easy to blend, and dye inks are translucent. So what he did was he put them together to make something really new and unique, and there's really nothing like it on the market so far. So you can do a lot of the same distress techniques with them, and today, because they usually you can't emboss so well with the traditional distress inks because they don't stamp very well on clear stamps. They're just not formulated to do that. But with the pigment ink in these, they stamp really smoothly. So I'm going to use two colors. This one is Fired Brick and Ice Spruce. In the translucent ones, the Ice Spruce has like a green cast to it, but in the Oxides, it's more of a true gray. So it works better when pairing it with a red so it doesn't come out odd. It really does look like a true gray color. So you can see how smoothly the ink applies, and it's really rich. It's not beating up like the traditional distress will. So I'm covering half with the Ice Spruce and half with the Fired Brick. And I'm going to stamp it down my paper. And because I'm using the Misty, I can re-stamp and it stamps perfectly well. And then I can re-ink and stamp again. And I don't have to worry about mis-stamping, over-stamping, anything like that. And again, you can see how smoothly these inks go on to the clear stamps. There's no beading or anything like that. So I'm going to cover this in clear embossing powder and then heat set that. And whenever you're heat embossing, you want to let your gun heat up for a good 30 seconds to 60 seconds to make sure it's good and hot, so that way you're applying more heat for less time and you avoid warping as much as possible that way. And there's no glitter in this powder, it's just a clear embossing powder, because again, this is a Father's Day card, so you want to make it more of a masculine look. So it's nice and shiny and ready to do our inking. So the first color I'm going to go in with is Vintage Photo, and I'm going to do an even coat over the entire panel using that. And I'm doing this on a nonstick craft sheet, and that helps the blending tool to move. There's less friction, so you get a smoother blend. And with the Oxides, because they're pigment, they blend a lot easier than any other just dye ink will. But you can do this if you're using just regular distress inks. You can do a similar technique with those. And using a nonstick craft sheet underneath is going to make it easier to blend overall. But you can see how smoothly these go on. I do find that you get fingerprints in the Oxides a little easier than with other dye inks. So you can see my fingerprints there. An easy way to kind of get around that is just to use a little bit of scratch paper, just to kind of hold it in place while you're blending, so that you don't get the fingerprints. So there's my first layer of vintage photo. And to take a paper towel and kind of buff over the embossed areas to kind of get it off the surface, so that the true colors of the ice spruce and faded jeans come through. And if you can see what I mean, but it's more of a true gray on the ice spruce versus that greenish cast gray that the regular Distress ink has. And so I'm going on top of the vintage photo with walnut stain. This is a darker brown. And if it doesn't come out, this came out pretty dark the first time I did it, and I do have 2 other versions of this at the end of the video. You'll see those. And after I let it dry, it lightened up a little bit, but not too much. So I really liked how this turned out. And you can pick it up when you apply it. It doesn't dry immediately. So you might want to wait until it's completely dry to buff off the top, and it'll still come off, because that embossing powder is essentially super finely milled plastic. So that's why it melts and smooths out. So you can wait until the background's dry to buff off the excess ink off the top, and it will work just fine. So I have some, let's see what they're called, double cut alphabet dies by Concord 9th that I die cut some letters with. Now what I did was I took a scrap piece of white cardstock, the Bristol Smooth, and I just buffed a chunk of cardstock to color it with the faded jeans and the ice spruce, and then die cut my letters from that so that it would match. I'm just using some Tombow Mono multi-glue on the back. So I've got the red for the interior of the letters, and then ice spruced on the exterior of the letters. And the other 2 combos that I did that you'll see in the end of the video here, faded jeans and peeled paint, and faded jeans with the fired brick. So those are just different color combinations that I use to kind of play with the oxides, but it's all the same process. And I have Stick It on the back of the ice spruce that I forgot to add to the fire brick letters before I die cut it. So that's the finished card. If you have any questions on this, let me know in the comments, and I will do my best to answer them. And we will catch you guys later. There's an example of the blue, and then there's the blue and the green. So thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and we will catch you guys later. Have a great day. Bye-bye.